We're very fortunate to have with us tonight on Public Exposure Ben Wheeler, who is the World Educator of the Year as named by the World Affairs Council. And if you want more information, go to the World Affairs Council's website, www.world-affairs.org. And on May the 3rd, it's not, I understand, it's not going to be a banquet, it's going to be a celebration. The World Affairs Council annual celebration, the World Citizen is Bill Stafford, who was on the show just a short time ago, and the World Educator Ben Wheeler. It's on May the 3rd at Mohi. They're going to be celebrated, and we're very, very glad that they are. So if you want more information, go to the website and learn more. Okay, let's go to specifics about global studies that you teach in the 8th grade level. World religions. And in preparation for the show, I was a little bit surprised at the numbers that I see in the world religions. The top 8 world religions, Christianity, which I expected, at 2.2 billion, Islam at 1.6, Hindu 1.2, Deism, I don't even know what that is, at 500 million. But then the others, Buddhism, Shinto, the Sikhs, and Judaism is down there at number 8. What do you teach them about world religions, and what do they want to learn?
Well, we actually begin with that in the 6th grade. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. 6th grade
Wow.
Civilizations and Geography. And we start with early humans, and we look at the cave art. So for most of our existence,
You look at the what?
the cave art.
What's the cave art?
The Paleolithic era, Stone Age cave art. So the famous
Okay.
caves would be
Oh,
Lascaux,
cave art,
France,
okay.
Altamira, Spain. And the question is, well, what are they doing? And if you go look at it through a Joseph Campbell lens of mythology, well, perhaps those are the first signs of religion. You know, when a person puts their hands on the wall and they spray paint around it and then they draw a picture of the animal. Are they trying to control the animal? Are they worshiping the animal? Are they documenting the story of the hunt? Is it religion? But then we do move into the world religions. So as we travel the globe studying different ancient cultures in 6th grade, we look at the world religions, Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism. And my thought is that I have the freedom in an independent school to teach comparative religions. I don't have to worry about getting attacked by people for, I'm not promoting religion, we're just studying religion. Because I think that literacy in religion is pretty critical. You see the numbers of how many people believe in these different faiths.
Yeah.
How many Americans know that the God is the same God for Islam, Christianity, Judaism? I would imagine many don't.
Well, yeah, and again, what was it, the 4th largest, 500 million of deism, and I consider myself a reasonably well-informed person, but I don't know what that is.
Ben Franklin was a deist.
Oh. I still don't know what he was. I mean, I just thought he was the guy with, that they got electrocuted. But
Yeah.
so I guess the main point of it is that in your discussion that you have regarding world religions, is it from a historical perspective? Is it from a personal belief perspective? Or is it all of those?
So in 6th grade, it's really information. Can you be literate? Can you understand the tradition? What are the practices? What are the core beliefs? And then in 7th grade, which is a U.S. history class, we try to trace the path of Christianity primarily in our culture as an influence on the development of American democracy and the development of our culture in America. In 8th grade, in the Global Studies class, which is where I teach the It's All Connected book, we really look at religion in terms of quality of life because the research is pretty clear. Faith, some sort of faith practice, doesn't have to be a religious faith in terms of a world religion. It might be running in the woods or writing poetry. Faith, community, these are some of the less tangible things that have been clearly documented to contribute to well-being and happiness. So we question, okay, what's the kids' level of engagement for religion? So I show them a movie about high school kids who are sharing their faith, sharing their struggles with faith, and it's wonderful because there's a Wiccan kid, there's a Muslim girl, there's a Catholic boy of Latino background. There's a boy who's African American, but he's also Jewish. So it's a wonderful mix of high school kids talking about their faith. And so the kids realize it's not a magical thing, it's real life stuff, it's human stuff, it involves a lot of struggle. But we're not preaching, we're not praying.
One of the other big things that you teach in global studies is about poverty alleviation. And a very interesting group led by Bill Gates and Bill Ruckelshaus and Bill Clapp and General Shelley Kashvili, called the Initiative for Global Development, was formed here in 2003 under the premise that global poverty was the single biggest problem that there was, that if poverty were alleviated, then there would be a much greater chance of peace, there would be a much more healthy planet, and probably a more sustainable planet as well. What do you find the students in middle school interested in terms of global poverty as opposed to poverty down the street?
Well, what they realize as we work through the different global issues, environment, population, economy, they really come to see what are the leverage points, what are the points in the system, the global system, where you really can make a difference. And again, they see that poverty is such a driver. When poverty comes down, especially extreme poverty, fertility rates come down, family size comes down. World population can have a better chance of stabilizing sooner rather than later. But it doesn't happen until countries become more developed. So they get a real clear picture there that we can say, it doesn't make any sense. My kids say, why would they have big families? They're so poor. But then we look at the family system and the fact that the girls and women are collecting water for many hours a day and working hard around the house or around the farm. They need lots of kids and kids to support them when they're older. So they start to understand the dynamics. But when the poverty is reduced, a kid might go to school, family size comes down, they can afford some health care. And as you said, Seattle is an epicenter for poverty alleviation, also for global health.
Let's go to some global poverty facts, as a matter of fact, because this was just amazing, especially in light of this picture. Over half of the world lives on less than $2.50 a day. 80% of the world lives on less than $10 a day. And I mean, my goodness, just think of that. And 24,000 children die each day due to poverty. And those are mind-numbing statistics.
And one of the challenges for me in teaching a global problems course, global issues, is that the statistics are numbing, and I don't want it to be a dark experience for the kids. And so we try to focus on solutions. And also stories. Stories are more invigorating than numbers.
What do you mean by stories?
Well, if you tell somebody the story of one person who's suffering from hunger, that's more important than saying, 1,000 kids died today from hunger. Human beings relate to story more than statistics. I got that from Mr. Nicholas Kristoff, who visited in the fall and was speaking here. He was trying to share with teachers, how do you convey the gravity of the issues without letting people go numb? Because the numbers are numbing. There's a lot of zeros there. But the stories can be invigorating and very moving.
You've already touched a little bit on this, but something else that you teach in your global studies class is about global health. And of course, here we are, the epicenter of global health with PATH and, Seattle Biomed and the Gates Foundation and all of these organizations. But let's go to some global health facts, because these are mind-numbing too. There's roughly 6.7 billion people in the world, almost 33 billion people with AIDS, almost 14 billion people with TB, and over 247 billion people, million people with malaria. So, and those were millions, not billions. But those numbers, again, 247 million people with malaria, and here in the United States, malaria is non-existent, essentially.
Right. But when we were a developing country, it was a problem. So we learned to spray the water and control it that way. So again, we really try to focus on solutions. So we play a game around global health where each kid gets a card in the class, and one card is a problem, say malaria, and it gives a statistic about the number of kids who die a day, 6,000 I think from malaria. And then somewhere in the room is a kid with a card that has solutions and how cheap they are. A net for $1 or $2. And they have to find each other.
We have had here on the show over the past several years several people from PATH, and I find PATH to be a remarkable organization. Yeah. Is an organization like that something where you would draw information from, or maybe even visit as part of the global education?
Well, one of my students is ecstatic because her mom works at PATH, and they're excited about being in late stages of a malaria vaccine trial.
Well, we're excited.
And so my kids have that as something to look forward to in their vocations, as living in Seattle where there's tremendous opportunity to work in these fields.